I'm in the art track. I chose it. I was thinking between production and artist, and then when it finally came down to it, I just not the leader type, so I went for artist. I actually found out about it because of an article on UCF's website for the mocap studio, because I'd been looking at UCF for my master's program before, but I just had not seen anything that interested me. And I guess it was probably the naming of the program that kind of threw me off. But I'd loved video games. I'm fairly recent to starting to play them, because I only really started playing them when I was a sophomore. My dad wouldn't buy those game systems when I was a kid. His solution was, any game you can play on those, you can play on the computer. So we had plenty of computers. My current project is actually Sultans of Scratch. We've gone through several games at this point. We are finished concepting, we've started modeling and whatnot, and I finally figured out what I wanted to do, and it's actually more like particle effects and special effects. So just last night I finished a double-sided, really interesting animated aura for around the characters. Never been able to do that before. I knew that it was going to be really tough just from what I had heard from the faculty, that I was coming in with the least amount of experience with regards to being an artist, I guess, because my undergrad was actually television and film production with a minor in graphic design. So you don't do an awful lot of drawing or modeling for those beyond sketches. I'm really thankful I decided to do this program. All the frustration, the really hard learning curve I've had to go through. I think it'll make me a lot stronger and a lot more prepared when I come to getting a job. As we affectionately call the program, it's boot camp. So we get it all done here where we can make the mistakes and not have to worry about it. I think most of it I've not expecting specifics, but I think I was expecting generally. I think I had a fairly good grasp of what was going to happen based on my conversations with the faculty about how things were going to work. Nothing too horrible. Yeah, that's definitely my biggest challenge, has been learning the programs since I had not had any experience with them coming in. Even trying to mess around with the free versions online, ones that put the watermark in the middle of the thing for you, it still didn't compare to the actual program. I had only used Bryson Poser in school, and as Brian Salisbury said, that only does like a fourth of what Maya does. When I got a hold of the program, I was like, oh man. So I was playing catch up while everybody else was they're creating stuff, and it takes me twice as long to make something. I'm doing a bit better, but because I finally specialized, I'm still completely learning that now. In my undergrad, when I was the film production, that has been the biggest difference, I think. I learned how to do very well on my own. I excelled at undergrad. I graduated magna cum laude. So I come here and so much of it is group work that I was not used to. So it's trying to find your way through working in a group. And I didn't think I would have a problem when I came in because I like helping people. But you have some attitudes sometimes, you have misunderstandings, and it's hard to get through them when producers sometimes aren't even doing their jobs to try to mediate. But I think that's because they're still learning how to be the mediator. The most beneficial part of the program for me has been learning about the tools and learning how to learn the tools, especially when it's going to change in a year or 2 years down the road and you're going to have to relearn it. From what I've seen of Maya, actually, though, they don't seem to make as many drastic changes as I'm used to other programs making. So it's not nearly as hard. We're working with the 2 separate versions, the 2008 and the 2009 right now. So there's some things that 2009 does better, it's just we don't have support for them like in Gamebryo yet. So you still have to keep going back and forth sometimes. I have goals with regards to what companies I would love to work for, because even if it's not in the video game industry, as much as I like it, like working on Final Fantasy projects or Kingdom Hearts or anything like that, I wouldn't mind to be working in the movie industry, because with animation, it doesn't seem such a far stretch. With animation, it's more about having everything exactly fine-tuned the way you need it, and with games, it's about what you can get into the system, and the little movies are for that part. Yeah, I think the vast exposure to multiple aspects of the industry here we've had should help me with regards to that, even if I decide later down the line that this isn't what I want to do anymore. I'm having fun doing it now. And I think it's certainly a good learning experience, especially with learning how to work in groups, on teams and whatnot. I'm used to the few teams I've worked on with internships after I graduated, 2 of them were at Disney, that the teams I was on, everybody was a lot older than me. So they had already mastered this. I didn't have all of the stuff I'm going through now because they'd already gone through it, you know? So I wasn't dealing with the same aspects as I am now. I'm dealing with people my own age that haven't learned it yet, so it's clashing. I remember one conversation I had with Brian when I was touring the place is that with women, we are a rare commodity in the industry, and I kind of look at that as a good thing, because we do offer the point of view that the guys just don't get sometimes. That there's that vast female market out there that is untapped because the guys don't know how to tap it. And I'm hoping that I'm working with guys that are open to that, if you understand what I mean. I think Rick told us about one company, Maxis, that the reason they do so well in the industry is they're 60% women. They are reaching that audience that pretty much the rest of the industry is kind of ignoring or just doesn't know how to reach. So I'm hoping that the more women we get into the programs like this, into that industry, they'll be able to specialize more, assuming they want to. Be prepared for a lot of work. Do not shirk from it. Anything you can do to prepare yourself before coming in, especially artists, any way you can get your hands on the programs to try to at least learn some of the basic learning curve before you even get here, the better off you'll be. Because like some of the faculty told me, I was here almost 24/7 last semester just because of the learning curve, that I was trying to get stuff done in the same amount of time everybody else was getting it done. And I'm hoping I've gotten a little bit faster, but I continually am still running into problems just because I don't know exactly what I'm doing sometimes. Oh, there's so many games I've wanted to play, I just don't have time to play. But my stress reliever is World of Warcraft.